Time now is 7:02 on Tuesday, August the 6th at 2024. I'm going to call the Wayne Township Board of Trustees meeting to order. If you've not done so, you can please sign the book back there to make sure that we can get your roll call for guest sheets for record keeping. And then make it a roll call, please.
Yes, sir. Mr. Patrick?
Here.
Mr. Jacobs?
Here.
And Ms. Coleman?
Here.
You have the floor, sir.
Good. All rise for pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Great. So Megan, a motion for the approval of the minutes of the previous meeting of July 16th. So moved.
Second.
Patrick. Mrs. Jacobs. Already, all in favor to pass this motion for the minutes?
Aye.
There we go. Butchered that one.
Okay. So do we have, I see we had a couple additions, removals or disclosures from the posted agenda.
Yeah, we have three resolutions, 2024-89, 90, and 91, and also resolution 2023-83, which will be results of the public hearing.
Okay. Oh, I see it right there, yes.
You said 23, 24? Yeah.
83,
Yeah.
I say 23.
Yeah, you said 2023.
2024-83. Okay,
Yeah.
so moved. Now it's time for citizens' comments. Do we have any citizens' comments so far? Any? You guys good?
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. All right, thank you. We have no citizens' comments tonight. Okay. Next, we're going to go into department reports. If the time comes up, we do have a public hearing tonight at 7:30. And once that time rolls around, we will go into our public hearing for that public hearing. So right now we'll go back over to the department reports, and the first one is a road supervisor, Mr. Scott Camry. I don't know if Gus, you have his or
Just bring it up here.
anything different.
Nothing different to add, except they are out chip sealing. They finished up today. About 5:30 this afternoon, the slurry seal, whatever you want to call it, machine, was coming down 73 and had traffic backed up all the way to Carter Drive, so it doesn't move real fast. But it was being transported from Clear Creek over to here, so I'm assuming they're going to start tomorrow or the next day on the slurry seal in the subdivisions.
Oh, good.
So everything is, so far is going fine. They've got one issue on Rhino Trail they got to complain on that we'll see if we get worked out.
Okay, that's good. Okay, thank you, Gus. Is there any more questions for Gus in the road department?
I did see on page number 9 about the OEPA grants. I saw that Harveysburg received it, so that's good for Harveysburg.
Yeah.
So I want to congratulate them on that. So hopefully we can get, there's another round.
Hopefully so.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, next we have the fire department report. Chief Beckett,
Good evening.
good evening.
Good evening, everybody out there. I have just a few additions. You can see your run numbers there. 85 EMS runs for July, fire runs 43, service calls 4, total for 132. And our total calls for the year are 752. So we're about right on pace from last year, a few more. We had a new member orientation yesterday for 4 new members, 3 volunteer, 1 part-time. We did receive Tim Haggard's resignation. He was our part-time fire inspector. He got deployed. He's full-time Clear Creek, got deployed, came back, and I gave him some time to come back home and settle back into routine, and then reached out. And he wants to spend time with his family, so that I understand that. Structure fire, the Hamel House, I was out of town, however I heard everything went very well, so kudos to the crews and our mutual aid partners that assisted with that.
Very good job.
Yeah. The new battalion truck is back from Valor Outfitters. It does need to go back to get the cap and slide out installed. And there's a couple punch list items that need to be, addressed with it. We're continuing to, add our cradle point computers and stuff and do some interior stuff with it. I do have it here this evening if you'd like to go out and see it after the meeting. I have a couple others, things that happened yesterday to add. Our squad 91 was in a small accident yesterday. They clipped mirrors with another vehicle, causing damage to our mirror. The new mirror is in, it'll be installed first thing in the morning. I picked it up late this afternoon from Ford. No one was cited, and we did follow our procedures for our driver, and, you know, it's a tight road, accidents happen. You know, just instructed the driver, the member to be just more cognizant of his space, so. We're well underway with Lexipol and our tier 1. We have meetings every 2 weeks with our Lexipol rep and getting our SOPs and SOGs started. We're in our first round of writing those. The air show is coming up at the end of the month. They've asked us to participate and assist them, so we'll be doing that. The Warren County Emergency Management Agency is having a drill, first part of next year, and they've asked us to host it, which we have, and we've reached out to the ODNR and the Corps of Engineers. So that drill will happen somewhere on the Caesars Creek property. I thought it was important that we include them, and they were all about it. So that will happen. It'll be a real-time exercise. Since I'm on the planning committee, I won't be able to participate, so that'll be quite a challenge for Assistant Chief Lawledge to manage that. And the last and kind of most exciting thing is, while I was not here for the building and construction of the newest engine, the new Seagrave, Seagrave reached out and asked if they could put that truck in their calendar. So this Saturday, they are gonna come and photograph it. So we're gonna get it all shiny and new, and they're gonna do it in front of the new, they asked where I wanted it. I said, we've got a pretty new station, I'd like to have it photographed in front of there.
Oh, yeah.
So, that'll be happening Saturday. And that's all I
That's
have
for next year's calendar.
for next year's calendar.
I have to get one of those calendars
We're
in.
getting rid of it.
Now they just sold me on it.
Yeah.
Hooks and ladders.
That's right. Yeah.
So, thank you for your time. Does anybody have any questions for me?
I do not, thank you.
Thanks, everybody, for
Yeah.
working.
Yeah, very much so, yeah, especially for Animal House, yeah, thank you guys, yeah. All right, next up, we have the zoning department report. Ms. Lowen, how are you doing?
Good
Good.
evening.
Good evening.
Well, I have a list there just of the permits for the month. Two of those include some applications. One was an upcoming variance application next week. And it's for an addition to their house, and the rezoning that's on the agenda tonight. The variance that was on July 18th for the BZA was approved with some modifications. And like I said, that upcoming one is for Hacker Farm Lane for an addition. Of course, tonight you have a public hearing for Bentley's rezoning, and I'll go over the information during that public hearing. The one thing to note is it's time for the magazine, so send your articles my way, and I'm willing to edit or proof or whatever you want if you need it. You probably don't know about, you can submit normally an article for the magazine. I don't know if you guys will need to work together because, you know, the levy.
We're gonna have to do a levy one, yeah.
Yeah.
So you'll kind of have a joint.
When does it come out?
It'll be mailed out the first week of October.
Okay, I can do something that October's Fire Prevention Month, so on top of the levy, I can do
Okay.
some
that's
fire
right.
prevention.
Yeah, so the deadline's gonna be like the very beginning of September for the magazine.
So first week of September, you think sometime?
Yeah,
September 2nd.
September 2nd. Got to work around people's, in the printer's vacation and different things, so that'll still work out. And I'm just going to an online training on fence line law, because I hadn't
Oh, that's
had a
good.
class on that ever, so I'll give that a try. And that's all I have for tonight.
Great.
Awesome.
Well, thank you for all your work too.
Yeah,
A lot of
you've been
permits, a
busy.
lot of zoning, a lot of little things. Yeah, it's great. Anybody else have any more questions? Good. Thank you, Ms. Lowy. Appreciate it. Administrator's report.
Good evening, board.
Good evening.
Not a whole lot to add, other than to the report. Everybody's aware of the road closure on 73 for 21 days beginning Thursday, which is going to be interesting, to say the least.
I see we had a little trial, looked like it
Yeah,
got
we-
blocked a little
We
bit
have
too.
a trial and,
Yeah.
yeah, so we'll just see. Last week we had 5 days where 73 was closed from,
Like you be,
yeah, from Township line to 48, so at least we got some of the traffic using detour routes, so. And as they've got detour signs, they're putting those up Thursday down in Lebanon, so 48 bypass.
Corman's gonna be nuts.
It always, yeah, 'cause we're, yeah,
Road department, no nothing to add there.
it's good
And,
for business, yes.
we should have all our construction work done before school's back in session on the 19th of August. The hearing room roster desk, we got new monitors for all of you. The 2 that are here between Andy and Diane, those are all articulating stands that David put in. And the 2 over there are not. So articulating stands take up more room. Need to know what everybody's feedback is on them. You can tell us after the meeting if you want to take a look at most sets. If we want to send the articulating arms back, we can do that, because they do take up more room. That's kind of why we put them on diagonals like that. But I think it frees up space where you're looking out into the audience. As long as you can see monitors. Nice thing about them is they're not blinking and going
Yeah,
off.
thank you, David.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate it. Yay.
Let's see, our resolution tonight, I got your packet, this request from the village of Waynesville to participate in their 4th Street OPC grant application in order to gain the extra 4 points so that they qualify to get funded. In all documents, I sent you copies of everything that was turned in to the Board of Elections. They were very happy that it got turned in a week at a time. They said they don't like them turned in the last day, so I'm glad we got that done and didn't wait till tomorrow. And then a job posting for the opening on the road department. We've got several applications. I got another one submitted today, so we've got 4 or 5, I believe, on that. So I think we're gonna wait till about the middle of August and then probably do interviews and be ready to place somebody 1st of September.
Okay.
I think our Facebook thing is helping a lot on some of this stuff, because it really got out there.
I noticed
I think it does.
we got 2 real quick after it was posted on
Did
Facebook.
we?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, somebody messaged me about it, and so hopefully he turned his in.
That's all I have for it.
You want to talk about the roof repairs?
I have not got another bid or anything. If you want me to find another company to come out and take a look at it and see what their input is on it, on inspection, then we'd be ready, I guess, to go if we want to put it out for bids before the end of the year, so we put it on our final ARPA funding payment maybe, use it as a catch-all to wrap up.
Could be.
Did this company give us a,
I think it's the quote, no,
Oh, okay.
I said they found the missing signals and but they said that it's not gonna leak, they don't need to replace them, they said replace them, it'll just stick out that much more. So they said just leave them alone.
And how much is left on the ARPA funds? Off the top of your head?
I believe anywhere from 50 to 100.
Okay, and part of it, we gotta pay the road that we did now too.
We got, yeah, we still got a couple payments, and then I also have to get with, Village of Waynesville to find out exactly
yeah, we probably should go out for at least for a couple competitive bids
Yeah,
for the roof, or whatever we think is the right approach to it.
right.
Diane, thank you for posting, on Facebook.
Oh, no
Thank you for
problem.
doing that, I appreciate
No
that.
It's easy.
It does help, yeah, you're right, it does help. You good, Gus?
Yes.
Okay, does anybody else have any more questions for Gus?
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Gus. Next, we have fiscal officer report. Mr. Fitzsimmons.
So I guess some lighthearted news, went to the Ohio State Fair in support of, the Ohio Township Association, handed out some awards, for the, I guess, winning borough pigs.
Oh, good.
It's quite a time, I'll have to say, a lot faster pace and a little bit different than how we handle things at the county level, I will tell you. It's a little disorienting at first, but but had a lot of fun, and of course, we picked nearly one of the hottest days to go. So what would be a fair without being sweating a lot, right?
That's right.
It's true.
Sweat like a pig.
Yeah. Well, in fact, they were telling people, it was so hot that day, that they were telling people to start turning down their fans, because everybody's got individual fans, and because it was blowing all the breakers
Yeah.
constantly.
Oh, yeah, it would.
So they were telling everybody to turn them down, so that's how hot it was. So, it was a good time though. I rolled out the new BP credit cards, and now it requires them to punch in their, last four of their social security number, and
Okay.
they rolled out across, both departments, road department, fire department, everything seems to be running smoothly, so that's went well. Procurement cards, I still got a couple more tweaks, and I'll be rolling them out hopefully by the end of the month, so we can transition to them away from, the Chase Inc. Credit cards. So for those that have got recurring charges, which is what the fire department's got one, I know, we'll have to get that transitioned over to the new card. OPERS, well, the last count I got is about $14,000 is what we're gonna pay back to OPERS for the $14,993.84 currently. I still got one more letter out that I know will be coming, and that should top it off as far as what we're gonna be paying OPERS for not paying on the part-time EMS only and the paid on call positions. I've let the state auditor's office know, it's the gal that's actually over our region, Stacy's her name, and so we've been talking through some of this, and as I get these letters in, I'm forwarding it to her, and she's already engaged with the state attorneys about all of this, so everything's going as good as can be expected right now, with regard to that.
Does that
Also-
include the interest and penalties?
Mhm, yeah. I've notified also our insurance company too, just because there will be a finding of recovery, and that'll fall back on the township, and hopefully the insurance the bonding will cover that. So, but they won't know anything until, they probably won't give us any official discussion until the auditor's office actually does a finding of recovery against us next year during our audit. So that's really kind of pushing that down the road, but I wanted to give them at least, hey, this may be an issue coming up. So I spoke with Pat Foley over that issue.
Okay.
The next one is, so I'm starting to work with SC Strategic or SC View. That was the document company, you guys in fact just signed their check. It's the forms end of it, not the platform quite yet. We're going through the forms, and as I got into it earlier this week, I think this is going to turn out to be a lot more, I guess, useful than I thought it was going to be in terms of, we've got two forms part of our package, but we can load up, and I'm kind of beginning to do this, so our applications, fire department, road department, so we can have that, we can have a link, they can go to it, whether it's via a website or we can just send them the link. They can go on, fill out their application, click what department they want to go to, and then we'll go into that proper workflow, and they click on fire department, it'll then forward to chief or whomever he designates, and it will follow that workflow. All of our federal forms and state forms and withholding forms, all that, can also be put on this so people can access it and update their things. I've looked at putting our timesheets, our leave sheets, direct deposit sheets, all of that in this place, so everybody will have access to it and they're able to do it, and then they'll all fall into workflows, whether they have to go, some of them will just come to me, but other ones will give to somebody else perhaps, and then I'll have eyes on them as well. But, so I've started to identify those forms because they want to see versions of it, and then they're gonna recreate them, or they've already got some stuff there that they just gotta tweak it to make it ours, you know, because right now, like they were showing, they got a timesheet that would be exactly what we need, and it's for some school system, so the tweak is putting in our workflows and taking off ABC school system, or district, and putting my township on it. So we do get two forms, and so the ones that they're gonna have to work hardest on, I'm gonna use that on, but some of these lighter forms, you know, it's gonna additional cost, $75 an hour, to do it. So I was gonna ask for a motion, maybe to have a spending authority up to $1,000, not saying that's where we're headed, but just have it, that way I can get some more of these forms on there, to be a part of that process, because I think that will be a lot more efficient for the township.
I'll make that motion requested.
I'll second that.
Okay. We'll do a roll call. Mr. Patrick?
Yes.
Ms. Colvin?
Yes.
Mr. Jacobs?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Spending authority up to $1,000.
Yep.
Okay, and then, lastly, another thing that's really been sucking a lot of my time too is I've created, I don't have it tonight, I just did some polishing and bounced it around a little bit, as a purchase policy. So my hope is to start rolling out some better structure for policy. And so the purchase policy would need to be signed off by you guys. I'll have it for next meeting because in there, at least most importantly, is spending authority. And so I wanted to just address that so I could have it in place so that you guys could discuss it and vote on it next time, but at least I can have it done versus the back and forth. Currently, I have it set for spending authority for Gus at $5,000 and department heads at $2,500. ORC says that we can have a township administrator up to $10,000 and a department head up to $5,000. I feel like that's for perhaps a larger township than us. I feel like you guys probably want to be more involved than having to wait until something crosses a $10,000 threshold before you have a discussion about it.
Yeah.
So I just cut those in half, 25 and 5,000.
That's per item?
They
Occurrence or what, not
they
item
can
necessarily.
incur, like Jason could incur on behalf of the township, $2,500 or whatever, but on behalf of the township. Now, it still has to go through the other policy things, because I'm switching how we're doing things, but he'd still have to have, fiscal officer signing off on it, and he ultimately will sign off on it as well, but he would have, right now, I think we've got 15, I think Gus is at 3, so this just bumps it up just a little bit. And actually, as part of the credit card policy, it's not a true spending authority thing that the way it should be done. But so this will make it up to 25 and 5,000 if you guys are okay with it. If you want to lower, let me know.
Have we hit those limits too much at what we currently have?
That's a good question.
Probably not a lot, but we have. Where Gus will sign off on stuff because the
Did we ever miss anything by not having those limits? You know what I mean? That's the other question too. Have we missed out on anything?
Lost out on something,
Yeah.
right?
I don't think we missed out. I think the closest one was the road department was gonna get something, but still they would be covered. He'd still need Gus authority to do it because it was some type of equipment and, it was, buy it now or, you lose a 50% off kind of thing. But I guess it really comes down to how much where do you want to be in this process? And that's really what it comes down to.
So I guess my other question would be is, I'm fine with keeping it 15 and 3.
Okay.
Unless Gus, do you have anything you can foresee needing to be over that?
Not at this time, although just this week, they were putting in installing a culvert, and they had to order a Y,
Okay,
and that bill actually just came in today, and I noticed just that one Y was, $600,
okay.
or an ADS Y, for culvert, and so, just things are getting up to that point where
Where you say
wouldn't
things
even
aren't
think
as cheap
it
as
would
they
be-
were.
Yeah, totally understand.
Yeah,
Just
you know,
adjusting
when you
for
wouldn't even
inflation.
think things would be
Yeah.
over what you're purchasing, all of a sudden, it comes in, and it's like, whoa.
So
I just would think we'd go with our Ford.
if we were to say, if we were to adjust for inflation, even let's say at 9-10% the past few years, I mean, I could see bumping it up to something like, 1,000 on each, or 500 on each, just
Like
to
you're
get a
saying
little
2
bit.
and 4.
Yeah,
Why don't we bump it up to 2 and 4 and then see how the next year or two progresses and then go from there?
3,400 and
I make the adjustment of the policy.
1,700, don't you think?
No, I meant 2,000,
2,000.
2,000, 4,000.
It works.
My first thought at the most. Still keep it restricted, still be conservative.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
because
give something a little bit of leeway, because I think you're right with the percentage increase. Everything is getting more expensive.
And, I mean, that being said, like, this is to be used, I would say, for, an emergency situation where, it's not like hey, well, the trustees gave me authority to do this. I know everybody, all of our department heads are very responsible, and I can't see anybody abusing it, never has been before, so. And at the same time, I think a little bit of extra flexibility, just adjusting for inflation alone, I can make the argument.
I go to.
Yeah, okay.
So I'll make that adjustment to the policy. So, now, how this policy is gonna start running, I'm gonna start using POs a lot more. Anything over $1,000 is gonna have to be on a PO of some sort, versus having these big open blanket POs and everything kind of gets lost. It will be well, this is part of this, SCU too, is that they'll start putting in requisitions, they'll be approved, POs will be cut, and that'll be a more formal process of how we go about purchasing in order to help control costs, but also try to get the best deal for the township as well.
Okay. I think it's a good stopping point.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah,
Oh, that's
I've done
perfect.
anyhow, so it worked out well.
Yes, it did. Anybody else have any more questions for Scott?
Thanks for everything.
Well,
Yeah,
you.
thank you. Yes, appreciate that. Okay. Now, the time is 7:30, and we are going to move into our public hearing. Yep. There's a second to switch up. How you doing?
Good.
Good. You good? Is there an outlet?
Don't worry. Not really now, yeah.
Oh, we're ready to go? Okay, thank you, okay. Now I'm gonna open up this public hearing for Bentley's, State Route 73. Let's see here. This is Jan's Construction Manager of Ohio, rezone property located adjacent to 4488 State Route 73. That's Bentley's Awesome Resort in Waynesville. PID number 0507200010. And this is when they first put it in, it was stated for, from an R1 and a B1 to B2. This has been amended from an R1 to a B1 for the full property. So I wanted to state that. And now we're going to open up our public hearing. The Wayne Township Board of Trustees shall now come to order at August 6, 2024 at 7:32 p.m. for a public hearing that was scheduled for tonight, rezoning application. So Stacy Lowen has a PowerPoint to share to explain the application and the reason for this hearing. So I will turn it over to Stacy.
Okay, I'll just go through the review process. It was before the Warren County Regional Planning Commission Executive Committee on July 25th. I'm going to read you their recommendation. The Executive Committee had recommended denial of a rezoning request to B2 with a vote of 11-0 and 2 abstentions. However, the Executive Committee recommended either a B1 or PUD rezoning to allow for self-storage usage while limiting more intense uses. And then the Zoning Commission on August 1st, last week, they also, the applicant at that time actually verbally made the request to change to a B1 zoning. And so the Zoning Commission they recommended approval of the rezoning of the R1 to B1 as it aligns with the RPC recommendation. They did point out that it doesn't match the future land use map, but it fits in the area that is proposed, and that was their thought, and the vote on that was unanimous. And then, of course, the trustees are the decision-making body tonight. Currently, this property is split zoned B1 and R1. There's about 2.3 acres that are already B1 along the frontage, and then asking for the 21.98 acres of R1 to be rezoned to B1. The future land use map indicates the front of the property is commercial, which it matches right now, and the remainder as suburban residential. Just some highlights about the property. Water is available at the site, but sewer is not available, so of course that limits what type of uses it can be used for in the future as well. And I mentioned it's for self-storage warehouses for boat and RV. If it's rezoned to B1, the applicant would need conditional use and site plan approval from the Board of Zoning Appeals because it's not a site plan approval by right, it's a conditional use. This shows you here, this is the kennel right here, and then this is the property, and it's not showing me. I don't know how it does that. Okay, you see the B1?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
I see what you're talking about.
Yeah.
It's one on the right.
I don't know why my computer
Yep.
doesn't always show. All right. And then this is the future land use map, which doesn't have the Bentley's subdivided out of it on this map yet. And there's the aerial view. And they did reserve, at the time that it was divided, the 200 feet that's required minimum for a commercial use along the frontage. And this is just an example of the procedures for whether they're prohibited in a B1. So you can see that like any car type uses like oil change, lube service is prohibited. Garden centers are prohibited. Retail stores, bars and nightclubs and taverns are all, and professional offices are all things that you could go through and get a site plan before the trustees. And the self-storage, as I talked about earlier, is a conditional use. See if I have anything else you might want. It's not working. Give me a second.
Got your cursor?
It's just interesting, for some reason, it doesn't like, PowerPoint. It does it every time.
What?
When I use a PowerPoint, after I switch out of PowerPoint, it doesn't work anymore.
PowerPoint?
PowerPoint or?
No, I can't mirror, I have to back on to settings and stuff.
Extended right now, so you want to duplicate yours?
So just have the aerial up in case you have any questions.
Okay, so I'll proceed with it. So we have order of proceedings is, the next step is basically everyone has a right to speak in either support or opposition and ask questions. However, to ensure an orderly hearing, we ask before speaking, you state your name and address for the record, and time limits for each speaker will be set at 5 minutes. First, we'll hear from the applicants, then the proponents, then the opponents. The applicants will be given an opportunity to address any concerns raised after all have spoken. The applicant amended his application at the beginning of the zoning commission hearing. Instead of a B1 and R1 to B2, he is requesting R1 be rezoned to a B1, which we stated earlier. Okay. So if the applicant wants to get up and speak, he has the floor.
Jim Davis, 521 Byers Road, Suite 201, Miamisburg, Ohio. I'm with Construction Managers of Ohio. We initially put in the application for B2 just because self-storage was an approved use.
Yeah.
But through the regional planning meeting, I started to understand that it also meant that like a load, like a Buc-ee's or something eventually could be, used for the land. So I understood what they were saying. It seemed like stepping back down to a B1 made the most sense rather than having to go through the whole PUD process. We don't need water or sewer for this, so it seems like a good use of the land. It'll also allow us to sort of clean up some of the runoff that I know has been a problem for some of the neighbors.
Okay.
I'm happy to answer any questions, but that's the reason that we've asked for the B1 rezone.
Well, thank you.
Want me to pull up, do you have any interest in the kind of rough site plan that they have?
I think we're just looking at the property to see if we're gonna do B1 with it or not.
I have it if you
Yeah.
want to see.
Yeah.
My question is, so I know when you were here last time about the Bentley's Possum Resort, there was neighbors over here that were concerned about, they were concerned about noise, and they were also concerned about that water runoff. Did any of them come to the meeting last time to?
They did not come to the
see?
meeting, but they have voiced support for this, actually.
Have they? Okay.
Yeah, Luke, the one
Yeah.
gentleman who had a big opposition to Bentley's, actually came and said that he didn't expect it to look, as nice as it does, and hasn't been a problem, so he
Okay.
has called Dave Rixey and offered his support.
Okay.
And then, he seems to be a proponent.
Yeah, if they were here, I was gonna ask if they've had any issues with what happened at Bentley's, to see
Sure.
how good neighbors you guys basically are,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, so, I think so far so good.
Okay.
Good.
Nobody's called. so
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been pretty.
That's good.
Yeah.
Okay, does anybody else have any questions? We're good. All right, now we look to see, are there any proponents in the room? Seeing none. Do I see any opponents in the room? Seeing none as well. So, therefore, anything else? I guess basically now we're gonna look at closing the public hearing. Unless anybody else has anything else beforehand. Anybody else have anything? Stacy, you have anything? You're good? Okay, so I'm gonna make a motion to close the public hearing for State Route 73.
I will second.
7.1.
Voice vote, all in favor to close out the meeting, say aye.
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 All those opposed, same like sign.
Okay, then we're gonna move into the resolution, and correct, Stacy, we're gonna move into resolution 2024-83.
Unless you choose to deliberate prior to this.
Well, we could do it all right here then. So, for the next phase that we're gonna go into, would be into that. So let's go ahead and talk about resolution 2024-83. Right now, the resolution that I have before me right now is what Stacy gave earlier about the resolution adopting zoning map amendment to rezone property on State Route 73, which is a PID 0507200010 from an R1 to just a B1. That was restated by our zoning department stuff. So, I'll read, you want me to read this to you guys, this what's here, so you can at least know what it says?
Yeah, I read it.
Have you read it, you said?
Or if you have any
Yeah,
reasons, your justification.
Go ahead. Any questions?
I just wanted to kind of state, I understand it doesn't really fit with our future land use map because it really extends that back into the property quite a bit. From, future land use map just has it out front, basically, for the B1 zoning, or business zoning. But I do think it's a good use for the land versus other things, so I don't necessarily have any big hardship about having business, go back that far. Being kind of hidden back in there.
Well, but I think the idea of B1 from the outset is that it's a less intensive,
Right.
Use of that. So I
That's a lot of property there for storage units, so it's gonna be pretty big, I assume.
Yeah.
Hey, a lot of storage units been filled up too.
Yeah, and I mean, the goal is with Caesar's Creek, to have a lot of boats and RV,
Yeah.
storage.
Yeah, because a lot of HOAs aren't allowing those to be stored home anymore, so.
Chief's like, hey, somewhere's for one of
Yeah. And you're, like you said, you're not gonna need the sewer systems or no water's gonna be back there at all then, okay. All right.
And I agree with both you guys, you guys have very good points about less intensive use and, still seeing it's back there a little bit that far,
Right.
but yes. Yeah. So basically, the trustees agree with the B1 modification that says, whereas the amendment changes the zoning of the entire property to B1, neighborhood commercial zone, as approximately 2.35 acres were already zoned B1, and the remaining 21.98 acres of R1 property are now rezoned, or what we're voting on is rezoned to B1. And now let the board rezone that we will approve proposed zoning map amendment and conditions where the PID 0507200010 will be a B1 in its entirety.
Make a motion to adopt resolution 2024-83.
And I will second that.
All righty, we'll do a roll call vote. Mr. Patrick?
Yes.
Mr. Jacobs?
Yes.
Ms. Coleman?
Yes.
All right. It's passed, and this resolution is hereby passed this 6th day August.
Yeah.
We do.
I don't have
This
this.
is it.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
she's got the official, she should have the official one, so.
Oh,
She's waiting to see if we had any modifications to
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
You're done.
We're basically, we're done. So we just want to vote on that. We're gonna go to the rest of the resolutions, the rest of our business.
Okay. Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
so appreciate you coming out.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you. So as Stacy's getting that, we can continue to move on for the Board of Trustees meeting. So anything with old business, we got the website, we got 165 Miami Street as well, anything there?
So I do still intend on delivering the website. So
Appreciate that.
Know about that.
Thank you. Anything else with old business?
On the trees, I got some info back from Kirky Landscaping. I sent that over to Gus, some pricing on the trees, and it was, I think, in line with what we were thinking, so we just need to, we'll get that scheduled, this fall.
Do we need to make a motion for that part of it?
I don't know, because we made a motion, we approved it previously,
Okay,
and
as long as
the
we have it, it's
prices,
fine.
if you guys want, I'll show it to you, I'll send it to you, and,
I saw the email, I guess.
okay.
Yeah, the prices are in line.
Yeah, they're in line, yeah, so it's kind of just the scheduling with, the weather and making sure they don't die.
Yeah. Be like almost like mid to late September.
Yeah,
so what
probably,
has changed.
right.
Yep, okay. We have any questions or concerns with the bills?
How's that just got?
Any questions, concerns with the bills? Do you guys have any?
Not.
I had none.
I didn't either. Okay. Next, we're gonna go into the resolutions. So this is 2024-84. So this is a resolution authorizing submission of an application in multi-jurisdictional partner participation agreement thereof by the Village of Waynesville, Ohio, and the Wayne Township Board of Trustees in Ohio Public Work Program for the Fourth Street project that Gus talked about earlier. Is there any questions for this resolution?
In your packet is a copy of the request letter from the Village of Waynesville.
Uh-huh.
I do want to say the Village of Waynesville, in the past couple of years, has been a tremendous partner, I think, with the public works projects that we've had to put together. Of course, I was pretty set on making sure that Wilkerson Lane was taken care of, and they did right by us on that as well, so. I think so long as we can continue the cooperation, then these types of things come along, we should do what we can.
I think so. I think it's a good partnership with us in the village. It is. I think everybody can keep that up.
Especially when it goes to the fire hydrants.
Oh, yeah.
So, all right, I'll make a motion to adopt resolution 2024-84.
I will second that.
Okay, roll call vote, Mr. Patrick,
Yes.
Mr. Jacobs,
Yes.
and Ms. Colvin.
Yes.
All right, this resolution is hereby adopted the 6th day of August.
Next, we have resolution 2024-85. This is a resolution authorizing the Township Fiscal Officer to issue a then and now certificate for payment of an expenditure to a John Deere and declaring an emergency.
So I actually had a question about this one that came in from somebody from the public.
Okay.
Why is there a declaring an emergency on this one and the next one?
That was gonna be my question too.
Yes.
Because by law, if we pass something that can only go into effect within 30 days, by emergency, it happens immediately. Because we're waiting to pay this bill, and so if it comes in within less than 30 days, I won't be able to pay it by
Okay,
law. So
Oh,
it has to be an emergency to be something that's enacted right away.
okay.
So what happened was,
Now we know.
the then and now, there was a then and now created earlier this year by Daryl, but I guess he didn't know that there was gonna be a $25,000 that was gonna come out of ARPA to be part of that. So then I had to void that then and now, create a new one to pull in that $25,000. And, so, and it requires a resolution because of the amount of money.
well, this is the one that we made an authorization.
You've already made the authorization
Yeah.
Yeah, we
before.
did it before.
It's just I had to move money around to create a new then and now.
Okay. And this helps keep the process flow, see the paperwork. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thanks. So I'll make a motion to adopt resolution 2024-85 with that good explanation.
I will second that.
okay. Alrighty, roll call vote, Mr. Patrick,
Yes.
Mr. Jacobs,
Yes.
Ms. Colvin.
Yes.
All right, this resolution is passed this 6th day of August.
Next, we got resolution 2024-86. This is a resolution authorizing Township Fiscal Officer to issue a then and now certificate for payment of an expenditure to A.E. David's Company and declaring an emergency.
So, so when we issue, so I just want to clarify this, so when we do a then and now, it said that, at the time of the purchase, we had the money, and we now have the money, in order to make the purchase, but you can't cut a purchase order, in the past. So, in that transition, so anything over, under $3,000, I can, on my authority, authorize anything over 3,000 has to come before the board, according to Ohio Vice Code, and has to be voted in or approved by resolution within 30 days of the execution of the then. So that's why we're here in a sense.
Okay.
This
So,
is
go.
uniforms?
Yeah, so going back to the transition of one of the former chief leaving, and there was an interim person that purchased about $5,000 for their uniforms in that period of time. And so they did that, and then there was some other bills being paid at the same time. And then A. David's got overpaid, so they gave us a credit for an overpayment, but we still owe them $3,000 for uniforms purchased back earlier in the year.
Okay.
So this is all finally got settled with them,
Okay.
and they finally gave me the final bill and with all their credits. And
Your job has the detail. Very, very detailed. That's good.
so that's why this is before us, so I can get them paid.
You know, here's one that's back to what we were talking about on purchasing authority.
Yeah,
Again, this was just $500 over the threshold, and we wouldn't have to be doing this.
Okay,
So,
gotcha. Okay.
but we just covered,
Anything
we
over
just
3,000.
fixed that problem for this one.
We fixed it to
Yeah.
4,000,
Yeah.
yeah.
housekeeping 303.
Yeah.
303, that's right. Okay. I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2024-86.
I will second.
Alrighty, Mr. Patrick,
Yes.
Mr. Jacobs,
Yes.
and Ms. Coleman.
Yes.
And this resolution's been passed on the 6th day of August.
So next, we have resolution 2024-87. This is a resolution adopting an investment policy in accordance with the Ohio Revised Code 135 for Wayne Township, Warren County, Ohio.
So, I know it seems like a millennia ago,
Uh-huh.
when MEEDER was here, we submitted that investment policy they had given us, you guys reviewed. So the prosecutor's office, they finally responded late last week that the policy was good, and they were good with it, and they signed off on it, so we can move forward.
Okay. And this is just to accept that policy
Yeah,
that they gave us?
yeah,
Okay.
as is, further, they did make a smile, I guess that's in the agreement, I'll touch on that later. But no, there was no changes to this, they were happy with it, they said that other townships within the county use it, the same policy, so then, once it's adopted, then I gotta send it off to the state for them to recommend it.
Okay.
I think it's a great idea, so I'll make a motion to adopt resolution 2024-87.
I will second.
Okay, roll call vote, Mr. Patrick,
Yes.
Mr. Jacobs,
Yes.
and Ms. Colton.
Yes.
Next, we got resolution 2024 dash, oh, did I?
No,
Dash
let's all
88.
vote on me if you like.
Yeah.
This-
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a resolution authorizing Wayne Township, Warren County, Ohio to enter into an investment management agreement with MEEDER Public Funds, Inc. Back to Scott.
So this is the agreement they initially gave us, the prosecutor's office reviewed it, approved it, they had just one change in it, in section 5, it says that we would, says, with the investor, that we will give MEEDER Group our investment policy, our new investment policy, and he wanted it to be more authoritative, so he said, change it from will to shall, that we shall give them the policy, and then, of course, then it talks about how they operate off that policy. So we did that, and that was all he had to say about the agreement.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2024 dash 88.
I'll second.
Alrighty, Mr. Patrick,
Yes.
Mr. Jacobs,
Yes.
and Ms. Colvin,
Yes.
and this has been passed the 6th day of August.
Next, we have resolution 2024 dash 89. This is resolution approving the property and casual insurance proposal as submitted by Burham and Flower of Ohio for the Ohio Township Association Risk Management Authority, OTARMA, program, and authorizing the township administrator to sign all documents. Gus,
Okay,
back to you.
up here. I sent out yesterday, we got our August 19th renewal quotes in, and basically, we have about what I assume that was, I don't know, around a 15% increase.
Like 17, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think that's what I had.
There, most of that is derived from, all insurance has gone up a little bit. but a lot of that is due to our expenditures and also due to equipment upgrades and also our buildings and so forth. The cost of those have gone up. So with that said, last year we increased our property and liability. We bumped it up from 3 million to 5 million. That remains the same as it is at 5 million. I think in the email I sent out to you, this is around a $10,000 increase. We do have some of our credits that are being applied to it for loyalty credit, and then also I think there was motor vehicle license checks. There was also CDL checks that gave us some credits. But it pretty much is what it is, and everybody is having the same repercussions with insurance. With the TARMA, TARMA started as a township-initiated property and casualty program back in the 80s when it was a hard market, and it was, the definition of hard market is when you really can't find a provider out there that will cover you. So with the TARMA being a township-sponsored program, all the money that goes through this, TARMA works with all claims up to $250,000. Anything over that, is reinsured to another agency. So the state association is really only liable for the first $250,000, and the rest goes to. Now, there is a copy of their annual report out here, and they did lose money back in 21 and 22, to a little over $2 million in each year. 2023, was a break-even year. They were actually up a little bit. It wasn't a deficit. So a lot of this is a result of trying to get them back into a position where they can still fund some of the projects they do, like the Moore Grant and so forth, and get more comfortable where they're at. If you look at the book, I think we're around a $30 million surplus in the State Association fund to the TARMA, so they're just trying to keep it at that.
Okay.
The second paragraph, we got so me instead of some.
So
me?
Yes, it is.
Oh,
So. Yeah, that's-
I was like, is this some insurance term? Where's the Pat Foley we need? I'm like, there's so me.
That's in the Cambridge New Dictionary. It's one of the 10 top new words within the
It's all about me,
Because it
isn't it?
didn't show up on the spell check. Good catch, Josh.
So I take it, did they offer any kind of savings anywhere we could make some savings? I know we increased it before, we did a couple things last time.
There really is, there's not a whole lot unless you reduce the liability down. We've got replacement costs or scheduled values on equipment. That's another place that if we take the scheduled values off, would save some. But a lot of this is a result of, they were given an example of some of the villages and cities, and the police department's portion is lower than the fire department's portion. And that's because the police department, you would think it would be just the opposite. You have liability costs for police departments, which their equipment is not near as high. And their station isn't as costly as a fire station. Their equipment isn't nearly as costly.
Which makes
A
sense.
standard cruiser that they can put out is around $50,000. They put out on the street. So, and even at that, they probably don't run a scheduled value on this cruiser. They put a replacement cost on it, which if they have 50,000 miles on it in the first 6 months, and if they crash it up or whatever, then they're not out that much money if they have to replace it compared to an $8 or $9 or $900,000 piece of fire equipment.
Okay.
or in some cases, a ladder truck that are up to, $2 million.
Okay.
Yeah, net position in 2023 at the end was 31,608,000. Some financial highlights, all the members, and there's about 1,000 members in this group. They increased last year from 19 million in 2022, so in 2023 it went up to 20,686,000.
Do you guys have any more questions on this resolution?
Sounds like it just needs to be done. Let's make a motion to adopt resolution 2024-89.
I second.
So me.
So me.
Alrighty, roll call vote. Mr. Patrick?
Yes.
Mr. Jacobs?
Yes.
Ms. Coleman?
Yes.
And this resolution has been passed the sixth day of August.
Resolution 2024-90, this is accepting the resignation of Timothy Haggard from the Wayne Township Fire Department.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2024-90.
I'll second.
Alrighty, roll call. Mr. Jacobs?
Yes.
Mr. Patrick?
Yes.
Ms. Coleman?
Yes.
And this has been passed the sixth day of August.
Okay, resolution 2024-91, this is approving entering into a continuing educational contract with Tanner Schenkel for an advanced firefighter 1 and 2 class.
Yeah.
Do you have anything more? Yeah.
Tanner's one of our volunteers that got hired earlier. He was highly recommended, I think he was by Mr. Fitzsimmons, or recommended by him. And he's gonna be taking his level 1 class at the Career Center. Starts at the end of the month. Level 2 just started, so
Good.
he's pretty excited, and we're happy to get him trained and get him on board.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2024-91.
I'll second. Thank you.
Alrighty. Roll call vote. Ms. Coleman?
Yes.
Mr. Jacobs?
Yes.
Mr. Patrick?
Yes.
Alright, this motion is passed sixth day of August.
Okay, I see we have other here and no engine brake.
Okay, this comes back, I think we would have a public hearing, and I'm not sure if the board or if I was here for.
This is because of,
Okay, long and short of it is we had a request from a citizen out on State Route 73 for a no engine brake zone, close to Township Line Road. They've checked with ODOT, and we know the standard process and procedure. In order for them to put a sign up, it has to be approved by legislative authority. Require our township then to pass a resolution to approve a no brake zone at such and such address. So this is, just a, so I know when it was brought up before that there wasn't any discussion on it, so I just was gonna bring it up tonight. In this particular case, there's a couple residences right before you get to Clear Creek Township. Clear Creek Township, I believe, has a no engine brake throughout their township, so all roads are required no engine brake. Typically in the past, the board and a lot of people have been not supportive of the no engine brake because of the fact that, the engine brake actually is beneficial in slowing a vehicle down, a heavy truck. We do know that it is abused. And that's typically what residents are after, the ones that do abuse it, and they have the loud exhaust systems, and it makes noise and so forth.
So is an engine brake the same as a exhaust brake?
Yes.
Yes.
I use it all the time in the truck, because when you pull a horse trailer, it really helps when you're going down hills and stuff. I mean,
Well, yeah, and it saves on maintenance costs,
It
it
saves-
saves
I know.
brakes and stuff, it's.
Exactly.
Well, so,
It doesn't even make that much noise
You know,
on my diesel truck. I know some.
Yours, no,
like
but when you
big-
get some of the big rigs with the
Right.
big stacks, I mean, you've got some pretty loud
Yeah,
exhaust brakes.
yeah.
but are those, like, really the thing is, we discussed this before, it's kind of like, the people that are going to abuse their engine brake are not Correct. They're not the type of people that are going to follow the law or a sign. And I, you know, I get hung up on some of this stuff. Yeah, I understand it's one of our roads, or well, no, it's not one of our roads.
It's a state
It's not even one of our roads, and we don't have a township police force by which we can actually enforce this. I mean, we're relying upon,
So you were on the board when you put it up in the Lytle area. What was your reasoning for doing it there versus not doing it?
because it was one of our roads.
Yeah,
But you still can't enforce it like you said.
Correct, well, and that was the point that I made back
the
then.
sheriff has to enforce it,
Yeah.
but yeah.
It's just, it's one of those things where
Yeah, there's only two places that we've implemented it, and that's in Lytle, and then on, State Route 42, down at 122, or from one, basically where all the houses are in the subdivision, just south of 122 up to the four lane. And that was, you know, again, residents, a lot of residents that petitioned or whatever to have that done. So the board did, you know, approve that. And that's where there was a lot of discussion. And then in that particular incident is when they were running 50 to 60 truckloads of fuel over
Yeah, that makes
to
sense.
Wilmington every day. And we narrowed it down to there were only like 2 or 3 of those trucks that were abusers. But, you know, but those kids that drove those trucks or those people, they wanted to make as much noise as they could, so.
Do they know who is kind of doing that?
Well,
Like you said, you know what trucks they were.
actually, they did follow the one driver and.
Oh, did they?
and, yeah, and had a discussion with him, tried to, but he didn't.
Was it a normal vehicle or was it a semi?
It was a semi, but they take if you don't have it properly muffled, then the engine brake, you know, they'll pop and crack, and then
Yeah.
they got them tuned that way because they like to hear it. You know, they want to hear the noise. I sat down here at the ball fields at the 42 and 73 this summer, and there was a guy that came, after he came around the curve to see the stop light at 73 and 42, heading north on 42, he went down through every gear, all the way up to he finally made it stop at the traffic light, and every gear was just as loud as him. And it's, it's just.
But you think they would obey it if there's a sign that says it? I mean,
No, the only thing is
Yeah.
they probably won't obey it, but what's happened in the past is we've had, when the residents call the police authority, whether it be the county sheriff or something like that, they will not enforce it unless it's posted. So they're not gonna follow the driver and cite him or anything if it's
So
not.
so I don't mean to interrupt you guys, I know I'm watching the weather too, for what's
Okay.
coming in. But for our discussion purposes here and stuff like that, there's nothing that we're moving forward with tonight at all?
Really just kind of wanted to bring it up to touch on it tonight.
Okay.
I talked to the resident who actually, she called me today and
Okay.
I called back and left her a message and said I had it on the agenda to bring up.
Oh, that's
Start
good.
the discussion tonight.
all right.
So,
We'll think about it.
And it's,
Yeah, I think so, I think it's great, yeah. Tyler, thank you for bringing it up to us.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot different too, when you're in a residential area like Lytle or right there on 42, when the speed limit's set at 40 or 45 or lower, as opposed to you're out here on State Route 73,
It's 55, yeah.
that's the set speed limit. But you know the trucks are doing 65 or 70, so that engine brake helps slow that truck down a lot quicker than,
The problem I have is that I've gotten passed multiple times on 42, or not 40, but 73
73.
coming there. And you know, you're going to get from a 55 down to 50, and you're still getting people.
oh yeah, it's, I mean, people
You know,
really,
that's probably one of the main things,
it's just,
you know, I
I
see.
mean, yeah, they're loud, but it's,
Yeah.
there's a benefit to them.
Yeah, I think that's
Right.
just
Okay, so does anybody have any correspondence? Correspondence? Nope. You good guys?
Only thing I have is, I've got that AUTHORIZING annual report, which basically recited.
Yeah.
I do have colic pre-buy,
Oh, yeah.
which I don't know.
I took care of that last time.
You wanna take a look at it
Yeah.
for next meeting?
Yep.
Great, thank you, Diane.
For next-
You're welcome.
We've got several BWC and High Industrial Commission on some of our claims. And then the last thing I have is 2024 Chevrolet Silverado. After warning is expired, I just opened this, or 24 Chevrolet, I'll turn this over to Chief, or he can find out what he did. I don't think this is not a recall or anything, it is actually, I believe, just a service, claim to sell us a service claim. That's all I have.
I was gonna see if you had long enough for a factory warranty.
Well, the next thing is the elected officials' comments, so I will turn the floor over to Mr. Patrick.
Yeah, I got something. I'm gonna read a statement here this evening. It is with a mix of gratitude and regret that I resign my position as Township Trustee of Wayne Township, Warren County, Ohio, effective the conclusion of tonight's meeting. Due to an upcoming change to my residential address, I will no longer be able to fulfill the responsibilities and obligations associated with this role. Serving the residents of Wayne Township has been a profound honor and a deeply rewarding experience. I've been privileged to work alongside a dedicated team committed to the betterment of our community. Together, we've navigated challenges, celebrated successes, and worked to make Wayne Township a better place for all its residents. I am proud of the accomplishments we've achieved during my tenure of the past 9 years, including efforts to protect and preserve our rural setting, greatly improve government transparency, and fiscal responsibility with our tax dollars. These milestones reflect our collective effort and unwavering commitment to the township's progress and well-being. While my departure is necessitated by personal circumstances, I remain fully committed to ensuring a smooth transition. I am prepared to assist in any way possible to facilitate the continuation of our projects and initiatives. I extend my heartfelt thanks to my fellow trustees, township staff, and the residents of Wayne Township for their support, collaboration, and trust. I know I could not be leaving the township in better hands than those of trustees Diane Colvin and Amy Jacobs. Working with them has been a true pleasure. And I hope the community will continue to follow their leadership for years to come. Thank you for the opportunity to serve our community. I wish the board and the township continued success.
Thank
Thank
you,
you
Josh.
all.
Thanks, Josh.
It's been great work,
Yeah, it has been.
you know,
It's bittersweet.
Been a long time, yeah.
great insights and everything, good leadership. Thank you.
Thank you.
The years of talking to you down at Pat's gas.
And full circle, here we are.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, with that, we have no work session exhibition. So what we're gonna do is that I wanna make a motion to, move Diane over into your role as vice president. So I wanna make a motion, doing that, I just need a second. You're still here.
You're still good, so
We're not done yet.
So I will second that motion.
Okay, we'll do a roll call vote. Mr. Jacobs?
Yes,
Mr. Patrick?
Yes.
Ms. Coleman?
Yes.
All right.
and with all that, I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting tonight at 8:15 PM.
Second, okay. All righty, all in favor to adjourning?
Aye.
Aye.
Yay.